Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Grand Tactician, the Civil War. There has been a major update to the game engine, and we should see a more effective AI when he is surrounded on both flanks. I know that one of the updates in that game engine update has to do with AI behavior, so I'll be curious to see how they do. My main concern here in March of 1862 is Grant's army in Memphis. While most of our other armies are suffering some attrition, Grant's army is suffering massive amounts of attrition, and I think it's because he's cut off. We moved him down into Memphis, but the Confederates control the area between us and our supply line, and my readiness is in such a place that I cannot move. And I've just been watching this disabled number climb rapidly to where it's about a third of his army and still climbing. So what we're going to have to do is get down there and help out that army as quickly as we possibly can. So I'm going to send the Army of the West out from St. Louis. We're going to defeat the Army of the Shenandoah. We're going to come down here and grab Jackson and hope that that will allow the flow of food to get to Grant's army before his attrition is such that he doesn't have an army left. Once the readiness gets up into yellow, we can move him toward Jackson as well. You can see Crutchfield's army coming this way. He's got armies in and around Nashville, but none of them can take on Hooker's force right now, so it's not really a major concern for us. I do have Grant also building a telegraph line so we can get information to him quicker when that's completed. It looks like it is completed now. I don't know if it actually is connected to the others or if we'll have to build another one up here somewhere. All right, let's get that Army of the West down here and try to open up supplies to Grant. It's up 15,500 in losses now. Okay, so here's an opportunity to take Hooker's Army of the Ohio out for a spin against a force that's about half his size, though we are in and around Nashville. So our concern, of course, will be morale for the Confederates being in their home territory. But we should be in a good position here to use this army for the first time. Okay, so we're on the Stones River battlefield. My army is coming in from the southwest. And you can see the Confederates do hold most of the objectives. Kind of interesting here, we are going to be largely in the part of the battlefield where the Union was at the Battle of Stones River. They held kind of this western side while the Confederates came in from the east. So let's see where we want to go here. Looks like we have spotted some of his men already. I wouldn't mind. I want to get down here and get a good ground level look at the terrain. He's going to be up here on the Murfreesboro Pike. So we do have some cavalry. All right, let me go ahead and get myself in position and ready to go, and then we'll launch our attack. Confederate morale is actually super low, and I think the reason for that is that he's been moving his army in toward Nashville for a while, and because of my numbers, they keep pulling back. So I think that's affected their morale in a negative way. So this may be a fairly quick battle for us. So I'm going to start moving everybody up toward the Stones River. Let's go ahead and send the 2nd Cav up to grab this objective, assuming there's nobody there. We'll go ahead and wait and see what happens as all of those orders are given. Captain John Pope. So by 1862, John Pope had, I think, moved up to at least Brigadier General, maybe Major General, because he was given command of the Army of Virginia in the summer of '62 and sent east to take on Lee, where he got his butt kicked at Second Bull Run. So he's now moving in response to the movement of my army. Not sure why Bowman isn't moving. Let's go ahead and get him going. He's going to come across this bridge here. Let's get our artillery up and in position so we can help with this. And then let's take a look. All right, so who do we have here in the bright green uniforms? These are the Blitzers. We got 2 units there. Boss's Rangers are also there. I don't know why they're on top of each other like that, but I'm going to pull one back. So we're in pursuit right now as his army starts to kind of fall back more and more. It's shifted to indecisive, which means his morale's probably not... Well, yeah, we thought it was 30. It's actually 64. So his morale's way better than the general actually thought it was. But we're going to grab this objective here now. Might take a little bit of time for that order to come in from Hooker. Where is Hooker? Oh, he's right here. Okay. I'm going to get these guns up across this bridge. And let's go ahead and move up right to the river. See if we can grab these guys and maybe get them to stop. So these are 10-pounder parrots. They're going to open up on the enemy now. First combat for any of these guys, I believe. I think every one of them is going to show this as first combat. Alright, Tyler, we got to get him moved up. At least grab that objective. So we'll wait for these orders to start coming in for the division. We'll see what he does once we move up. All of our guns are opening up. We got 12-pounder Napoleons here and here. We've got the 10-pounder parrots over here. We're grabbing the objective now. And now he's going to stop. Now that we're in position. And we're firing on him from across the river. This will be an interesting fight because we're basically going to be shooting at each other across the river. But really not in a position to do more than that. So we've got the Blitzers. 4th Brigade, 5th Brigade. Here we've got Boss's Rangers with those bright green uniforms. We need long range. Danish Legion here. Smoky Mountain Brigade. And then over here, Kaskaskia Rifles, 3rd Brigade, and the Indiana Brigade. I don't think we can cross the river. So they're telling us now just basically to sit tight. That we don't need to push any further. We just need to defend where we are. I don't like those guns sitting there looking at me though. So let's go ahead and move up, see if we can silence them. I need everybody to start with long range. Let's move these guns up to where they're in a position to actually help. There's the Yellow Riders. Alright, there's a bridge over here, and we've got cavalry over here as well. I'm going to send the cav over to grab that objective. We're going to bring Robinson across the bridge. Start to get on his flanks, and let's see what he does when we do that. Evergreen Brigade. Right there in the center. I think we've driven the guns back. Where's he going? He's gonna cross. No, 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 no. Don't cross that bridge. What are you thinking? No, 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 no. Stop. For the love of God, stop. Oh, now he's attacking. There we go. We got the stop order in place. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, let's push forward with Tyler. He's coming at me with everything he's got over here. Alright, there's the new orders. Let's get them back over this way. Let's see how things are looking. pretty good, almost even in terms of casualties, but I have twice as many men as him. What happened with this? And once he gets up here, we'll issue the new orders for that division. We just need the center to hold. There is a crossing here, it's just a ford. Man, brutal fighting here. We got cavalry over here. Under Hood. Alright, how's the center holding up? Taking a lot of casualties. The 4th Brigade. So are the Blitzers. That's my main concern right now. We just need to hold, though. Alright, we broke Hood and his cavalry. So let's push forward. These guys still have muskets. We've got to remedy that. All right. So he had a unit break in the center, and Hood's cavalry breaking on his left, combined with my movements on either flank, have caused him to rethink his position. Wisely so. So we're going to watch him pull back now. But I believe it's probably too late for him to affect the outcome. Now the casualties have become very one-sided. Ashby's going to try to hold while the rest of his force pulls back. Nicely done by our center. Yeah, his morale's dropped a lot now. Now that we've grabbed those objectives. There goes another unit broken. Okay, let's push forward. And that's it. He has had enough. Alright, 2,200 lost for Hooker. Inflicted 5,600 casualties on Magruder. There are a number of other Confederate units in the area, though, and at some point they're going to get their act together and converge on Nashville at one time. My main concern, though, is establishing our supply lines in western Tennessee. Nashville, I feel like we have a pretty firm hold on, which is historic, because this is about the point in the war where Nashville was first taken by the Union Army, when Fort Donelson and Fort Henry fell to Grant's forces in February 1862. Nashville basically became undefendable because the Union had taken the forts right here guarding the Cumberland and Tennessee rivers, and so at that point the river is controlled by the Union and Nashville had to be abandoned. But right now we're just trying to get to Grant. Okay, back in the east now. We're going to go ahead and take McClellan's army back down. Let's see if we can't reacquire Grafton from the Confederates. He does have the Army of Georgia over that direction, as well as the South Carolina State Militia somewhere there. Our two armies in Washington are probably at a place where they can start advancing once again. Let's take a look. What's the Army of the Northwest got? Estimated 25,000 men. We've got the Susquehanna and the Army of the Potomac, which has 60,000 men now. So I feel like we could probably go ahead and advance those two armies back now that it's getting to be spring. So we're going to send Wool's army back to reacquire Winchester, we're going to send the Army of the Potomac to reestablish itself in northeastern Virginia. The Army of the West is now capturing Jackson. All right, this is going to be a pretty easy victory for us. We've got the 2 combined Eastern armies there. In fact, I feel like maybe we're just going to auto-resolve that one. All right, glorious victory at Manassas Junction. Grant's army's readiness is back at a decent level now. The main thing we're waiting on now is this Mississippi squadron to finish up building the new units, because once we do that, we're going to be at a place where we can move down. We're just at 47%, so we've got a long way to go. It's taken forever to build those ships, and until we do, we can't dislodge the New Orleans squadron, and we can't supply Memphis by water. Oh boy. Now, as I mentioned earlier, at some point they were going to gang up on us in Nashville, and you can see the numbers. I don't think that's a tenable situation. The enemy is not offering a battle if you don't attack. Order unit to deploy and defend and hold the enemy at bay. Let's do that. And at the very least, we might be able to send the Army of the West to go help him. We got to wait till their readiness is back in the yellow. That readiness definitely has such a huge impact on how things operate. And I actually really appreciate that, because that takes into account all of those intangibles about moving an army, especially moving an army in enemy territory, that a lot of games really don't take into consideration. Okay, so we're going to move Grant toward Corinth. We're going to move the Army of the West. Oh, he's actually pulling his armies back from the siege of Nashville. Who was routed? It just says unit routed. So we've got the Western Army still there. We've still got 35,000 men under Hooker. The Army of the Shenandoah's got 6,600. Actually, I think Hooker's going to hold. So I'm a little timid about sending the Army of the West because he doesn't have the numbers that some of these other forces do. I might just hold him right where he is, but I am going to move Grant toward Corinth. Okay, I want to check something out here because our financial situation is not the best. Our credit rating's BBB minus. So we're going to go ahead and go for print notes 2, which is going to allow for an additional $50 million in newly printed money each year. So let's go ahead and do that. Of course, that'll affect inflation, but I feel like that's what we have to do right now. Finances are all over the place, but I want to take a look at the situation with our recruits. All right, we don't have a lot of available recruits. We do have a bit of a problem with desertion right now. Not a huge problem with desertion, but financially, what I want to do is I want to start investing in recruitment a little more. See if we can't build that number up some. Okay, he's starting to move units back up toward Nashville. So I am going to go ahead and move the Army of the West. Army of the Mississippi under Grant. Obviously, with their readiness low as it is, it's affecting their movement speed, but he is going to take Corinth very soon. All right, so we lost Nashville. The siege of Nashville has finally been resolved in favor of the Confederates. Hooker's going to pull out, so that concerns me a little bit because they could turn these armies now toward us here. Grant dropped readiness, and so he didn't quite make it all the way to Corinth. There he goes. Taking Corinth will help a lot. This is a rail hub. It's an important place to be. We're going to go ahead and build ourselves a supply depot here. I feel like I probably should have put a fort, not only in Nashville, but over in Memphis. But it is what it is. How's Hooker doing? So he's got a food issue right now. You can see the disabled number is not necessarily good. Taking a look now at our blockade situation. Wilmington Port is blockaded by 83%. The Flying Flotilla and Farragut Squadron are doing a pretty effective job here, 63% blockading these ports. which is affecting the flow of supplies into Richmond and therefore his armies in the east. I'm looking to see where the rest of our blockading squadrons are. We're going to have to make a move on Nashville, or on New Orleans at some point. Here, New Orleans is blocked by just 27%, so we're going to want to improve that at some point. I don't think we're blockading Biloxi Port at all. We are not. So that's one place they are getting supplies. Army of Tennessee only has 2,600 men. Grant's readiness and his supply situation is once again at a critical place. I'm going to pull the Army of the Ohio back to over here. I need another army operating in eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, because the army, and same thing with the west. Fort Caswell garrison is in trouble as well, so we've got supply issues all over the place at the moment. Okay, we're going to make a move with McClellan toward Charleston. Of course, the Army of Georgia may just, if they're still in this area, they may just move up and take Grafton, but that's not a huge deal. Does he have Portsmouth is controlled by the Confederacy? Well, that's not okay, because my great-grandparents were married in Portsmouth. I don't like that at all. Who do we got here? Missouri State Guard, along with unknown units. This is going to be in western Tennessee. We've got some major issues here in terms of numbers that are not real favorable to me, but this is Grant, and this is the Army of the West. Let's go ahead and fight it. But not surprisingly, our western Tennessee battle is going to take place on the Shiloh battlefield. Now, the Confederates hold pretty much all of the battlefield here. So we are going to be coming in from the heavily wooded northwest. So I'm sending my cavalry up ahead just to screen and to see if we can spot where he is ahead of time. We obviously want to take Shiloh Church. That's a major objective point right now. And we want to move as quickly as possible, because once all reinforcements for both sides are on the battlefield, he's going to have a substantial advantage in numbers. So I loaded up everybody right on the only road coming in from my setup point, and we're going to send everybody down that road. Well, his reinforcements have already arrived. We now estimate that the Confederates have 57,000 men. We are still waiting for Grant's army. That'll help us a little bit. I'm going to put Walker's division over here along the west branch. We're going to put Sykes's division up right around here somewhere, and then we're going to try to bring in our artillery to support. We've got some decent artillery in this army, including some 30-pounders. Let's see if I can find those. Here they are. The Battle River Rascals, 30-pound Parrots. So let's make sure we get them somewhere where they can definitely affect the battlefield. Well, his reinforcements keep arriving. We're still waiting on Grant. He's now at an estimated 90,000 men and 200 guns to our 23,000. Where is Grant? When is he going to arrive? Let's take a look at the condition report. It says Grant's still 4 hours away. Oh, this is brutal. Let's just hope he doesn't decide to press things. He's still got 2 more forces arriving in 6 or 7 hours. I think we're overestimating his numbers right now, but it's still a lot that's going to be coming my way if he decides to attack. There's the end of the day. That means all reinforcements should be arriving now, including Grant's. So let's see where that puts us. Estimated numbers are now 108 to 55. I don't think he's got 108,000 men. That's almost every man he's got in every army. So I think that's got to be an overestimation. But we still have to get Grant's army up there, and Grant's back here with no good roads. There's one good road leading out of the area where Grant is, so we're going to have to load them all up coming down the same road. All right, Grant's army's getting into position. It does not seem as though the Confederates are particularly interested in an attack. They've got good morale, and they're racking up the objective points, so that it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to do so. We're going to hold Wool's army here and we'll try to get Grant's army in position along here. See if we can't grab this objective and start to push up and maybe try to make contact with just part of his army without having to engage the whole thing. But it's going to take a while because we're all having to use basically the same road to get there. Haven't really seen his army, so the estimate hasn't changed at all on the number of units that or the number of men that we believe he has. Okay, we're starting to make contact. We can see him moving in on my left. Let's see if we've changed anything about our estimate. Estimates come down by 2,000, so not by much. I want to see if I can try to very quickly neutralize those guns. I'm not sure we can get sight of them at the moment. I'll just go ahead and let my artillery fire on whoever they can for the time being. Alright, we're bunching up over here at the moment. I'm going to push Sheridan right in right here. I don't think I'm going to extend my line any further than that just because we already know that we're outnumbered. So I'm going to try to stay as consolidated as possible so I can back up any holes that get poked in my line. Alright, so he was moving in over here as well. So let's get Sheridan quickly in position behind this creek to defend against that. Come on, get Sullivan in there. I'm going to extend Hancock's line and then stretch him out right there and hold the rest in reserve. Alright, so these are our Australian boys, I believe. Yep. 20th Australian Infantry Brigade, 24th, 25th, 18th. I need to get some artillery over there. I don't think I have much artillery in Grant's army. We need to work on that. Saginaw Valley Rangers don't have any cover at all. There's artillery over there firing, so let's use these 30-pound Parrots as counter battery fire. See if we can't start taking out some of his artillery. I'm gonna watch the losses here. So interesting. WHL Wallace commands a brigade here. He was historically killed at the Battle of Shiloh. I believe. I think he was defending the Hornet's Nest. Alright, I'm going to hold here for now. Let's see what our estimate looks like now. Now we're saying 104,000 for him. He's got 250 guns. It's rare to see the Confederate Army in a place where it's got significantly more guns than the Union. It doesn't happen very often. He's pulling back over here. Oh, man. Alright, so he's coming in on this side. McCook's division only has 3,000 men, but we're going to have to very quickly send him over this way. So the Louisville Legion is going to lead the rush to get some troops over on that flank to hopefully stem the tide. These are, I see the Buckeye Brawlers, they only have 922 men. These are some of the units that suffered the attrition in that horrible winter that Grant suffered over in Memphis, so it's going to take a while to get their numbers back up. This is their first combat, and yet they've already lost 2/3 of their men before anything even happened. Sumner's only got, see the same thing with the Ruhr Valley Brigade. This is their first combat, and they've only got 646 men. So Grant's going to need a long, long time to recover those losses that he suffered from attrition. We've got to deal with these guns, take them out. All right, Louisville Legion, get up there and deal with them. We're going to charge Braxton's battalion with those 19 guns, see if we can't take them out real quick. That's all artillery, so the artillery is probably in the lead of some infantry that I would imagine is also coming down that way. Go, 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 baby. They're very tired. I mean, they had to march a long way just to get into that combat. We're going to send Barry over here as well. We might be able to really wreak havoc on his artillery because they were leading the way. So we're going to start taking out some of those guns. And for the most part, not a lot happening elsewhere. Are we doing anything to these artillery pieces at all? Hopefully he'll waste his ammunition. Alright, Chattanooga Volunteers. Oh, they only have 114 men? Oh my goodness. And the Louisville Legion broke from that. I was afraid of that. Hopefully we'll get him to recover. We're going to send Barry in, but I'm going to wait until he gets closer to actually issue the charge order. Alright, I think Whiting's gonna recover. I'm hoping he will. Long way to go on this fight. Alright, so he's got some cavalry out here. I sent the Robinson Raiders. I want to just get a sense of what's going on, so I started sending them out. Sending this 2,200 man cavalry unit out to the flanks so I can get a sense of things. I'm going to charge these guns. I've already taken out 60 of his guns. Let's send Barry forward to engage the cavalry. Ah, we got driven back before we even got there. Oh, we have an evade order. That's mainly why. The Robinson Raiders just got messed up. Alright, who can we send? We've got Marshall, the Hungarian Impalers. Let's send them over there. See if we can grab some of these guns. New estimate of the situation. We're actually showing a minor defeat now, even though not a lot has happened, which is fine by me. You know, if I don't get heavily engaged and have my army get decimated, that'll be okay, even if I lose. A 3,000 man cavalry brigade? That can't be right. Alright, Barry, let's see what you can do here. Got another brigade headed that way. Oh, he's starting to show up over here on my left flank now. I want counter battery fire from both of my big guns, the 3-inch ordnance and the 30-pounder Parrots. How we doing, Bear? Oh, he's lost 278 men already. Alright, we're going to bring the Hungarian Impalers up here on the right. Try to get another 2,400 guns firing on this cavalry. Whiting has indeed recovered. Let's go ahead and bring him up on the line. This is probably going to be a loss. We just want to make it an effective loss. Where we do some damage on the way and don't get humiliated. We're pretty thin over here. That concerns me a little bit. We could send another brigade to help out. Alright, Marshall, get up there. Hungarian Impalers coming in. Man, the Rangers have lost 700 men. Oh, but they drove Palmer off completely on their own. Nicely done, boys. Still, I don't think it's going to change the outcome. There's the end of the day, so we have an opportunity to redeploy or kind of examine our options a little bit. Now we're showing he's got about 94,000 men, down to 200 guns. We're doing all right so far. I say we hold and see what happens. Okay, so we've got the Confederates have redeployed right into my center here. We've got some skirmishers that are wreaking havoc on the Rangers. So I'm going to send the Robinson Raiders forward to see if we can deal with those skirmishers before they become more of an issue for Barry, who's already lost nearly 800 men. If we can just hang on and inflict some heavy losses on the Confederate army before being forced to withdraw, then I'll consider this a victory, even if it ends up being a defeat. Okay, 92,000 men, 200 guns. He's still got quite a bit more in terms of guns than we do. There's a battery right there. Got these 14-pounder Jameses, hopefully wreaking havoc on him right now. I'm going to have these guys go back to fire at will. Just hit whoever's the best target. There might be an opportunity here. Let's move the Green Berets forward. Alright, here he comes. Oh man, what happened here? Why is Reed out there? He's got to pull back and pull back quickly. Same with these captured guns. Really doing quite well, except for the fact that he holds all the objectives. And we know he's got a ton of men out there. You can assume that this whole line's probably filled in with Confederate troops. Okay. Once again, I've got to take a risk with the Robinson. Oh no, we just lost. That hurts, because I was about to send the cavalry up there to try and stop these guns. Come on, Green Berets, put some fire in on this guy's flank. Tear him up. This here is the UCF Fighting Knights. I hate that those guns are right there, though. We're going to send the Ruhr Valley Brigade in. If these guys weren't... Oh, now he's sending the guns forward. I'm going to take my chances. I've got to send the cav in to deal with those guns. I just can't mess around with that, even if it costs us dearly with the Robinson Raiders. Oh, they're not going to make it. Darn it. Hit them. Yeah, they didn't make it. They got driven back before they even hit them. How are we doing overall? Still really good. I mean, 5% casualties on both sides, even though he outnumbers me 2-1. We can't sustain that forever, though. He's come up and parked some guns right in front of the Louisville Legion, and there's not a darn thing I can do about it, because if I advance, I come under small arms fire from an entire division. So I just got to hope that I can shoot my way out of this. But he's only taken 1 casualty so far. He's got a couple of brigades that have advanced over here, but largely he's really just not hitting me. All right, Merrill's Marauders. Let's try and send them in to deal with these guns. But again, he's got infantry coming that direction. I'm going to send the Ruhr Valley Brigade and their 600 men up. We're going to send Tower and Potter to hit these guys. I just have no choice. I've got to advance and deal with this. And if I can occupy the infantry with a charge from infantry, maybe I can hit the battery with the other ones. And it looks like I did. No. Don't go over there. Alright, we broke there, and that's turned us into a major defeat. We're at the place now where I think we probably need to start pulling back. No, not surrender. No. Retreat. Let's pull the armies out. I think we did the best we could under the circumstances and actually inflicted some serious damage on these Confederate armies. Yeah, we lost 5,000 men. He lost 6,600. We were actually at like 2,800, but then the act of withdrawing had an effect on us as far as the numbers go. That shows as a major federal defeat, which is not ideal for us. I hope this does not affect Grant in a negative way to where I have to replace him. But we'll find out here in a minute. Okay, let's take a look at the armies that were involved with that. Army of the West, their commander's okay. And Grant's okay as well. He's not showing as defamed for all of that. So what we're going to need to do going into the next episode is it's time to probably reorganize the armies. Get some corps going, especially in some of the larger armies. Try to organize them a little better that way. That'll be for the next episode. We're going to wrap it up right there. Long way to go, and this thing is far from certain for us. Hopefully we can get the numbers back up where they need to be for some of these units. And hopefully we can get this fleet going. They're still at just 54%. It's probably going to be fall before we can move on the Mississippi. So let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below, and we will be back with another episode in a few days. Thanks for watching.